All right, friends, welcome back to Yoga by Paige. In today's myofascial release class, we are going to target our shoulders and neck. So it's no surprise to anybody that this is where we typically carry a lot of our tension and our stress. Our day-to-day activities just don't lend very well to us keeping a balanced health in this area. So a little bit of extra TLC goes a long way. What you're gonna need today will be 2 tune-up balls. You will definitely need a block, and I suggest having a blanket or a towel or something nearby as well so that you can use that for a little bit of support and a pillow. So with that said, we're actually just gonna hop right in, and we're gonna start with our bellies down on our mat. So you can slide your blanket up towards the top edge of your mat, and then keep your block handy on the kind of low setting so that you've got the wide part facing up. This is what we're gonna start with, and then just set your second ball aside for now. So try to do this without garbling my mic for you. But start with your right shoulder. What we're gonna do as you come down here is just come right onto your belly, and then in the front here, we're trying to get below the collarbone and above kind of the main part of your breast tissue there. So there's kind of a little notch. This is where we want our ball to be placed. And then we're going to take that ball and we're going to put that on the block. And so I'm angling my block a little bit. You might have to organize yourself so that you can get in here in a way. And then what you're going to do is, I like to have my leg kind of bent just so I can get down in there. You can rest your head in your other hand, or you can kind of bunch up your blanket. My blanket's down at my feet, but it's not always easy to finesse here. Or you can bring your head down and rest. So you're just kind of in that pocket, putting a little bit of pressure. You might start to feel this through the gentle part of your pecs, or the kind of the outer edge where they attach through the shoulder there. And we're just breathing in. You can, if you would like, do a little pin and stretch by stretching your arm up and then gliding it back, and that might provide a lot of sensation up and back. Woo-wee. Up and back. So once you find a spot that feels particularly interesting, you can stay there. Whew. If you want to lie flat, you can. I just find I have a little bit more control when I've got my knee bent. I can easily come out of it. One more breath. All right, so what we're gonna do is just come right onto our second side. So same idea here. You can stay on your belly, just slide your block and your ball to the other side here. I'm gonna angle out so you can see me a little bit better. And so underneath the collarbone, not quite on the shoulder, so just inside the shoulder, there's kind of this little notch here. So that's kind of where we want our ball to be. And then you're gonna place that ball, and then you can slide your pillow under so that you can lie down here, rest your forehead, rest the side of your head. You're pressing into this block. So you might have to move and orient yourself a little bit. And then once you have a good place there, you can find that pin and stretch by just gliding your elbow up and down in that kind of cactus arm. And this should feel pretty nice. This is an area that gets tight, particularly for yogis when we're doing a lot of chaturangas or arm balancing. It's kind of an overlooked area in our bodies. And again, if you need to adjust and find another position, you're welcome to do that, taking a few breaths. Maybe you just settle in. Last one. Awesome. So what we're going to do from here is just come on up, and we're going to get ourselves ready for our second side. All right, so you can set your block aside. You may want to use it for a pillow, but we don't need it for now. So what we're going to do now here is we are going to target the infraspinatus. So this is the muscle that sits on top of the shoulder blade above the spine of your shoulder blade. So we are going to fall off of our trap. So the trap is kind of like this big meaty version, right? So we're gonna fall off of the trap here, and then you might reach back and find where that, there it is, where the spine of your shoulder blade is. So there, and we want our ball to be not up here on the trap, but not below that spine either. We want it to be kind of right in the middle here in this little triangular area. So we're gonna lie down and have this block underneath. And once you're there, you can kind of glide side to side a little bit, kind of noticing what's going on. You might feel some pretty intense pressure right away. Remember, we're below the trap, above that spine, and then you can lift your hips if you want a little bit more kind of sensation and breaking up there. You can also start to turn your head a little bit as you roll the shoulder down. And then if you want, you can even do some of these gliding sensations with this right arm in a cactus, that pin and stretch situation. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to break up here, what kind of tension you have going on. Ooh-wee. We'll take one more breath. All right, and then we're just gonna move right away into our second side. So let's actually start sitting up again so we can place this together. So with your right hand, reach over and grab kind of the big meaty part of your traps. Notice where the spine of your shoulder blade is. If you kind of come out to the shoulder rotator cuff here and walk in, you'll feel that spine of the shoulder blade. So we want to be above that, but below the big meaty part of our trap. So infraspinatus here. So right in there is where we're going for. So you'll place your block and we'll go ahead and lie ourselves down. All right, and then once you're down, you might need to make a few adjustments so you can get into a right place there. And then you can kind of glide side to side a little bit, seeing what you can kind of break up in there. You can also, as we did before, lift those hips and really say hello to some of that pressure. This is a great one if you suffer from headaches. Sometimes it gets really tight in here. This can be a great place to release. You might feel some referral pain into your head. Totally normal as long as it's not sharp or shooting. And as long as you're not on the bone either, that won't really feel very good. You want to stay in the muscle belly there. All right, so if you had the hips up, go ahead and set them down. You can find a few of those pin and stretch situations. So you can kind of glide your arm up and down, feeling the release, not only on the back, but you may even start to feel it where we started with the ball in the front here. So I also feel it kind of in the upper pec area. Again, that's a bit of that referral situation. Awesome. So then when you're done, you'll remove that and we'll just lie flat for a moment. You can keep your head on your pillow if you like, but begin to notice now we've done a little bit for the front of our shoulders, we've done a little bit for the back of our shoulders. The ability just to open up, to rest, maybe even to take a deeper breath through the upper part of our body. All right, so now what we're going to do, you're not going to need your ball for a moment. You can set them aside. You will want to grab your block though. So grab your block and we're going to put it on the medium setting so that the thin part of your block is facing up. And then we're gonna lie on our right side here with the knees bent. And what we're going to do is we're gonna place this block in two places underneath this armpit area. So where you have your actual armpit, just come down ever so slightly, like 2 or so inches. And that's where you're gonna place your block. And then you're going to rest your elbow on the mat and rest your head in your hand. So while you kind of like settle in here, there's a lot of lymph nodes in here. You have the serratus anterior. We have where the lats tack down. We even have the traps that can come out here too. So it's a tight area that is often overlooked as well. So what can feel good when you arrive here is just to kind of rock yourself forward, and then that'll get a little bit into that pectoral tissue. and then rock yourself back, and that'll get you into those lats and a bit of those traps as well. So this can feel really, really nice just to gently rock back and forth. And if you find a spot that you're like, that feels good, I need to stay there, do that. Just listen to the body, listen to the feedback that you're getting, and take a couple of breaths. Ah, yes. And see what other parts of your body you might be able to relax as you do this. One more here. All right, okay, so what we're gonna do now is you can keep your elbow down. You're just gonna press through the right elbow, and we're gonna slide our block up just 1 inch so it's more in that actual armpit area, and then go ahead and set back down. So this just gets in a little bit different area. So as we know, this part of our shoulder girdle, so many things come to converge here, and you can kind of rock forward and back again. And notice what different sensations you might feel in this round, right? So again, you might feel it more in the front towards those pectorals. You might feel it more in the back to the lats. And you've got a whole bunch of other smaller muscles that come together to support the rotator cuff here. Just find something that feels serving to you. And just taking one more moment here. Last one. Ooh-wee, that feels good, huh? And so what we'll do to come out of this is just sit ourselves upright and just roll the shoulders just to check in to see what you've got going on. Now, right away, we'll just come into our second side. So you'll place the block here underneath your left side. So come onto your left side of the body. Bring your arm over the block, and then remember, we've got the armpit, so we're gonna start 1 inch below that armpit area. So you might wanna place the block first, or just lower your body down onto the block. And then once you're there, again, you can rest your head and your arm, pause, and just notice the sensations that arise. And now from here, if you want, you can find those gentle rocks forward and back, just noticing what you've got going on in the body, right? So the entire rest of your body is totally relaxed. In fact, you're almost like draping yourself over this block so that you can almost become one with the block. And just notice whether you are feeling it in the front and feeling it in the back, the quality and texture of the sensations that are coming up. And just kind of pay close attention. Do you feel like you're able to relax into this and let the sensations kind of ebb and flow as you rock back and forth? Once you find a spot that feels like it is going to serve you, pause there and breathe through it. See what other parts of your body you can release. Yes. And now we'll just move our block up 1 inch. So support yourself up onto this forearm, slide your block out just 1 inch, so we're now into that armpit entirely, resting your head back down. So this one, you may not feel quite as much sensation or more, depending on what you've got in your body from day to day, right? It can vary pretty drastically. So check in, does it feel good to turn forward and get more of that pectoral tissue? Does it make more sense for you to go back, working towards the rotator cuff muscles there? Does it feel good just to stay here in center and allow those lymph nodes to get a little bit of pressure? And then just finding those breaths so that you can drop in, so that you can relax, so you can feel the replenishing parts of this practice. Awesome. All right, yogis. Now when you're ready, you're just going to push into your front hand and come on up to sit. And just as we did last time, we're just gonna lie flat here for a moment and come all the way down, release, so that you might feel the full support of the entire shoulder girdle. So we went front and to the back and then to our side. Hopefully now that you feel all of this, you can kind of sit up a little bit taller, feel a little bit prouder. Like you've set that reset button on your body. One more breath. And then we'll just make our way up into our seat. So you're welcome to come back to any of these. spend more time, whatever makes sense for your body today. Choose one of those, but hopefully you feel kind of like a little bit of refresh and you've got a pep in your step. Remember, if you like these videos, so if you really like these poses, don't forget to hit up yogabypaige.com/on-demand so that we can roll out together. I would also love to connect with you at Yoga by Paige on Instagram. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're here on YouTube. Peace and be well.